You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Celebrity Apprentice After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV Celebrity Apprentice After Show.
Okay, you got that right, Sir Richard Wentworth. Let me tell you something. Bing is for doing, you've heard of that, right? Bing is for doing. Well, we are doing another amazing after show right here on AfterBuzzTV.com. And today's Bingin' AfterBuzz style show we're going to do is about Celebrity Apprentice. But before we do that, let's talk about who we are so you guys could get a little familiar with our voices and our faces and our sounds and everythling like that. My name is Ronnie Jr. Hello, hello, hello. Next to me is the amazing creator of EatinAsian.com, Kimlai Yingling. Such a fun name. Across the table, we have our other Celebrity Apprentice super fans. We have Alina Akram.
You got it right. Yay.
Well, because you changed your Twitter handle, so now I get to see it all the time, and now I kind of got your name memorized.
Awesome.
Cool. All right.
I'm very excited.
And of course,
about
our comedian of the group, Kristen Carney, who tells the greatest jokes you could ever hear.
That's the only joke I know.
Yeah. Well, there she goes. Fart jokes are always funny.
There go.
Celebrity Apprentice. The name of this episode was called "How Much Is That Celebrity in the Window?" And I can't wait to tell you guys about what we saw and what we thought about it. But as you were saying, the show opened up with their reaction to Victoria Gotti being sent home.
Yeah.
Was that big of a surprise? I mean, I felt like when we watched it last week, we all kind of got it, but you know, they did capture that reaction from the.
The ladies seemed really surprised, right? Like Tia had her jaw dropped, and she's like, "Oh my god." So I don't know. I guess they didn't expect it.
I think because her name is so notorious for strong that you would not picture her to be the second woman to go. But I think when you hear the reactions of a lot of the celebrities on the show, they really weren't fond of her and were kind of relieved that she went. So I don't think she's that. Yeah, I don't think she's that much of a fun friend, you know.
But I think it brought the ladies together because they made the point. Well, the guys are the enemy, you guys. Let's make it happen this time.
So they said, now that we got our enemy Victoria out of here, now let's focus on and this was their second going back to last episode, this was their second time in the boardroom. So they had to win going into the next challenge. Now we'll talk about the challenge. I know Kimlai has all the stats on that in just a second, but let's talk about Penn getting to give back to his particular charity. Penn has got to be all of our favorites, I'm assuming. I mean, we all kind of like him. He has great energy. He talks, you know, he communicates very well. And he has, when he gave back to his particular project, I was really connected to it. I don't know what you guys thought.
Well, we saw a tear drop a little bit on him, which it was like
both of his eyes.
It was like more manly than Lisa doing it, you know.
Right.
But I was emotional tonight, as Alina knows. I don't know if you guys could kind of tell, but when he started getting emotional, I shed a tear.
Right.
And especially the kids, like he said, these kids will get thrown away if our organization doesn't help them. Yeah. And that's really sad because we're so ignorant to it because we live our everyday lives functioning completely normal.
I mean, it really, we talked about it before, it really is the best part of this show that you get to get that every, I guess it's only about 2 minutes worth.
I know, it's so brief. It's like you're feeling emotional, feeling it, and then boom. Well, back to the boardroom.
Right.
Yeah, but it's what we like, though. We do love the craziness.
You do get a range of emotions on the show. Yeah. Which is good. It's fulfilling.
It seems like there are a lot of characters on this show that do have different sides, which is really great. I mean, we all love Adam Carolla, of course, and he kind of has given different ranges.
He came back with the funny.
He was with the funny, but more so, you're right, was Penn with the crying. A little bit of crying, but not bad. He didn't look, you know.
No.
Lisa did it last week, which again was like, whoa, okay, you know, this boardroom has people doing some interesting things.
Yeah, it's nice to see him buckle a little bit.
We of course will talk about today's task, which was Ivanka and her line or her venture, which is what exactly here?
It was the Ivanka Trump clothing and accessory line.
Okay.
And they were supposed to create living window displays.
Yes.
So they each had 2 windows. So the men's team was supposed to do 2, and the women's team were supposed to do 2 windows.
And it was for Lord and Taylor on 5th Avenue, so it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very visual
Now,
spot.
what do you guys think? I'm thinking the 2 visual displays, which sounds tougher than it maybe is, but then I'm also thinking it might be easier than it sounds. I'm going different aspects on that.
Alina and I are both like,
we're like,
I think it's tough. There's
I think
so
it's
many
tough, too.
department stores. Everything's been done. You have to be really creative.
I did look into when I was in college, when I couldn't decide who I was. I'm like, am I a man or a woman? Like, I just was trying to figure it all out.
You're still figuring that out. That's
Still, yeah. You can see by the hat, but the braid. It's like I'm just both at the same time. But when I was in college, I was looking into window dressing because I thought, oh my God, that would be such a cool career because you can be artistic, but you're at the same time probably getting a steady paycheck.
Right.
So I looked into it, and it is competitive. My aunt at the time was a rep for Macy's, and she looked into it and kind of spread the word to her friends that I was possibly interested in it, and they all kind of were discouraging.
Really?
They said there's so much, you have to go to like a fashion design school, there's so much competition, and think about how many people are out there with how many windows. I mean, there's a lot of windows, but compared to
that's money. That's huge money. That's major advertising for that company, and if your window display isn't selling it, you're not going to want to go to the store.
That's the reality of it. Is what you're talking about. If you actually want to do this as a job, but for a task, I don't know. I just felt like it would be an exciting task. We'll say that. I felt like it could be something that was very doable. But some people had certain challenges with it, and said that it was more difficult than they would have expected, as well. So the men, they choose George Takei to be the project manager. Was he the initial choice, or was Clay Aiken kind of were the 2 gay guys the ones who were like initially chosen?
Both of them were thrown around.
Yeah.
But at the end, George took on the responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a motivated by gay thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
Adam
made
said
several
it.
comments about that.
Yeah,
what did Adam say in the show?
He was chosen for 3 reasons. He's gay, and he's gay.
Yeah.
And then he said the gays were not gay enough.
Oh, who said that one?
Yeah.
Or wait, did I say that?
Those were your
I'm
thoughts.
sure many people said that.
No, they did say it on the show too.
Someone said that.
Arsenio, later on in the episode, Arsenio said that in the sense that he thought Arsenio had to ask himself, why am I doing the display, choosing the clothes, so it was just some like stereotypical comments or whatnot.
Definitely.
And they were all comedic, so there you go. It was not a bad issue there for the most part.
But they did point out that, I can't remember who said it, I don't know if it was Penn or somebody, but they said they're so busy looking at other men that they've kind of forgotten. Arsenio said that was funny. Yeah, that they don't know what women are wearing.
Because he was looking at the shoe with the high heels like that. This is fashion, whatever. Right. And George Takei was like, well, I like the Betty White shoe.
Yeah.
That's a dead-on impression right there.
Well, we're going to wear that in high fashion.
We'll get to that part of the task in a second, but did we... people said, oh, it was such a stretch for Arsenio. I don't know. He's a sharp dresser. I thought it would be... That didn't seem like such a stretch that he'd be
said that?
The pink tie thing with the black suit and that baseball cap at the end. I was like, I don't know if he's a sharp dresser.
Amongst some of the other contestants.
They said that he was...
That was like a challenge for him, for Arsenio to do. I think that wasn't a challenge. I think Arsenio could step into that task. I mean, we found out the real answer towards the end.
We found out the real answer, but at the end of the day, he didn't do bad for a guy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
I mean, his rationale behind the whole thing really made sense.
Yes.
He said... I'm trying to show off her whole line.
But so, if you have to constantly explain and get more in depth and explain what your brand is, you shouldn't have to explain in so much detail.
Yeah, it's like explaining a joke. It's like then your joke isn't funny.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
and
understand
that. Evening wear, I mean, with the 2 different sides, the day and the night, that wasn't really nighttime wear. I mean, if you really think about it.
Well, what this episode has done is confirmed that Arsenio is straight. That has, because he definitely is lacking a little bit on the fashion sense.
Is that what it confirms? Okay, we'll get into that portion of the challenge, but let's first talk about the women and who they chose as their project manager as well. So we know that George is not the best project manager, but the women, I mean, you could sense it from the beginning is what I thought. But anyways, we go to the women, and Teresa wants to choose. I could do it. I'm associated with fashion.
She went to school for fashion.
Did
apparently.
she now? Is this the truth? I mean, do we know this?
I don't know. I haven't heard that before, but
I think her offering to step up. I mean, she definitely has a background in it, and apparently window dressing. But I think she is going to be smart. and step up when it's something that she feels fully capable of doing. And she did.
That makes sense.
You know, and then the Dana, wow, I'm just not a fan right now.
Of who?
Of Dana. I just feel like she's
Diana.
Diana,
You
sorry.
have changed her name
Oh,
even.
Dayana?
It's
It
Diana.
looks like Dana.
Okay.
But it's Diana.
I wasn't necessarily a fan tonight. I think she felt that because of her title, is she Miss Universe now?
No, she was.
She was a
years
former
ago.
Miss Universe. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought she was now a former
No.
Miss Universe. That doesn't necessarily lend you the credibility forever. You know,
No.
I was Miss Universe 20 years ago. That doesn't mean you know how to window
You know
dress
what it probably
now.
came down
Right.
to, and this is just
You
what
know?
you by you talking right now, it gave me this idea. It probably came for these two ladies because we when we were watching it, we're like, why did they both step up? Like, if you could stay under the radar, wouldn't you kind of want to?
Exactly.
But these two ladies, in their minds, they feel like they're very fashion driven. So they're probably like, ooh, this is a task I could jump into and I could win. And
I'm
show
gonna jump
myself.
in on this.
Yes.
Mr. Fashion, by the way.
I'm gonna
Thank
give
you.
I'm gonna give you the bio of Teresa real quick.
Oh,
but
great.
I also want to say this: if there's ever a task to step in on, especially when you feel like you have a sort of knowledge, it's this task when it's for the boss's daughter. You know what I mean? If there's a task to win, you better
True.
win this one.
Right, because you're all going to have to do a task, and you might as well try to get in on one that's going to benefit you the most and make you look the best.
So
Exactly.
if it was a comedic charity event, you would probably, out of us four, you'd be the one who at least we would assume to do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then I'd be fired.
Yeah.
So what's your background, Phil?
All right, so it says here, after graduating from Berkeley College with a degree in fashion marketing and management, Teresa worked as an associate buyer for Macy's in New York before deciding to
Nice.
stay home with her children.
Wow.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
So really, she should have done it.
You know what? And it's not about
She
your
should have.
fashion sense. This was about managing people. And she had marketing
Project
and
manager, you're correct.
You know, so I could care less if you know what's in style. If you know how to manage people, you'll be
So
fine.
then how did Diana ultimately become the one then, if that's the
Because
case?
she assumed that just because she's Miss Universe and around fashion and around girls, that she would be strong at it.
Well, and she became the one too because that other
Patricia.
Patricia was pushing
That's
for
what I
her
was
to be.
getting
Patricia
at,
was
yes.
pushing for it.
Just sharing the same like cultural background. It really, I don't
it's
think
like,
Patricia.
she's like my little
Bonding.
sister, blah blah blah,
Right.
whatever.
Although I do like Diana's charity, what she was going for, so that was actually really cool, and she ultimately was the one chosen. So
yeah,
so-
Right, so
all
we're
of
all
them
dissing
have
on her, but
significant charities. I mean,
Oh yeah,
that
of
one
course,
especially.
of
but
course, yes, of course.
Patricia, I mean, Donald Trump ended it with Patricia. Who do you think it should be? I mean, somebody had to pick because nobody was really stepping up.
Yeah.
And so ask Patricia. She gave an answer. Done. Let's go.
strategy wise, though, if they were thinking clearly on that, they definitely should have gone with Teresa, given that
I-
background.
But maybe Teresa didn't speak upon everything she's done. Maybe
Yeah,
she
I
just
mean-
gave a little bit of. I mean, we don't know, you know.
Right, they didn't play it to us.
If
that
they would have read the
background
bio
she
that
had.
Bill
Well,
read,
right,
guys,
right.
but strategy wise, they all won.
Exactly.
really,
So what
the
are we really
strategy
talking
should
about
be,
here?
We got to get one off.
Right.
One off. And I really thought that by Dana doing it, I thought she would.
Dana
Ah,
again.
Diana.
Oh, Diana, I'm sorry, you guys. I really thought that, she's going to be out.
Yeah,
Because
I
the
did
way
too.
it was going, she cannot manage.
No. And she got lucky. I'm sorry.
She did get very lucky.
The strategy wasn't good. It's just the execution is what.
By everybody else, the
Yep.
team.
Right, it was almost by default.
Yes. It was not her managing at all.
She sort of got overran by
And-
the
and
rest
you
of them,
could-
by Aubrey.
And you could tell she was insecure going into the boardroom because she
Yes.
was shaking. She was talking like George
And she wasn't
Takei
even
when she got
looking.
in there.
You know, she usually addresses. Well, she's sitting there, she's talking to Donald Trump, and she's addressing him. And this time it was like,
Donald
Right.
totally
I mean,
has a
she
crush on
couldn't
him.
really
He
say.
has an advantage.
I was gonna say, is there something? Not a crush. I'm not saying that
I
with
think
Diana.
it's pretty
and-
women in general.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wasn't gonna say that, but I
Yeah,
was gonna
he has a
say
weakness.
Does of course. But my point is like she was a Miss Universe, and that's part of
He does
Trump's.
own that.
So I was wondering if that gave her maybe just being more comfortable in the show. I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like they're homies.
Like they already know each other. They already. I mean, obviously Donald knows most of those people that are on his show anyway. But I just wondered if that played into her. But not really, because her confidence wasn't really there. So I guess it didn't.
Yeah, but so she went in there, you could tell kind of shaking in her boots, thinking, oh, we really didn't do a good job and the guys probably beat us. And then the minute they told her she won, she became this like this blossomed flower of like confidence. And but you could
Even
tell
though the
she
win
was
had nothing to do with her.
right. So
Well, I know, and from what we saw, I mean, she didn't even say anything.
She
All
lost
the
it.
clips they showed was her just kind of observing and everybody else taking over.
Well, like I said with George, and I'm going to apply it to Dana as well, or Diana.
Oh,
You managed to change your name.
Spelt Dana.
It's
Similar to Dana.
It's Dayana.
Pretty soon I'm going to be saying Arsenio.
That's a great name. That is a great. Everyone should name their child Arsenio.
But I'm going to say the same thing for George as I am for Diana, is that they're lucky they both have the team behind them.
Absolutely.
This time,
And even though George got let
Which
go,
is gonna-
they got it done because of his
Which
team.
is going to draw me into the next couple episodes, because in a couple episodes, if you are weak, you will not be able to rely on that.
Because the foundation's
You're not going to have Penn
not
going to
be as wide.
It's either going to be Penn's going home or you're going home.
Right.
So it's going to be you.
Right.
You know what, you guys? I feel a little bit Diana. I feel a little bit that she is relying on her background and her relationship that she has with Donald Trump. And so that's why she's so, But when put into the position to be a manager, and you have so many type A personalities, and you have women that are older than you, they're more experienced than you. I mean, she is going to get eaten up.
Right.
Big time. And I think we saw a little bit of that tonight.
Yeah, and these women go into it like she's a pretty face,
And
so
they're
they
boom,
already
boom,
feel like
boom
they can
with
kind
ideas.
of push her around a little
It's
bit.
not her.
Yeah.
And you
It's
can't
not
rely on the Miss Universe title
No,
or
you
that
can't.
relationship
That's
with Donald,
not gonna
because
last too
bottom
long.
line, this is business.
I did think she was
know?
very in danger of going home, especially if last week she was brought into the boardroom. And when she was brought in the boardroom last week, we all said, well, she's out of the three, she's the least who made the mistake. However, Donald never lets you just walk in the boardroom and, well, you didn't
Get off
really,
easy.
because she didn't do anything wrong. Well, she didn't do anything wrong. She also didn't do anything. So I was kind of, I was actually kind of worried about her, but she did make it. In comparison with the guys, they, why did they win, or how did they? I'm sorry, they lost.
Wait.
What do you think? I guess my question is, what do you think made the women win versus the men? Let's talk about the displays themselves when Ivanka came by.
I think it's literally just the execution and luck. The women used more fashion. They put a little bit more effort into the actual displays, where the guys' displays, it was such a good concept, but it was empty.
Yeah, it was empty.
Like, where's everything?
It was empty. It was very minimal. I thought they should have put some moon, like a moon and some twinkling stars.
So
to
you knew day
give it
night,
a
because it wasn't the clothes.
No.
The clothes weren't given away day and night.
Right.
You
No.
wear a
Can
trench
Can I
coat
offer an
during the day.
idea? Go ahead.
Yes.
No,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, I want to hear what she has to say, and then just an idea I have for the display. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say they could have done something to make it more feminine, and there was no
Exactly.
feminine touch. And I think Ivanka was instantly turned off by that and turned on by it by the women. Even though I think the women didn't really have that much to offer.
concept?
It was just like it just had some sort of feminine flair to it, and I think that's why they won.
I didn't think
Exactly.
the presentation by George.
Oh,
something
he was like stuttering,
happened
Oh my
couldn't
God.
speak,
So bad.
under
Terrible.
pressure. It's like something
couldn't
happens.
think of Clay's name. He
He
was
threw Lou under the bus. No one even asked.
my
No one
God.
even asked him
Bus.
about Lou. He just said Lou is just not really
poor
doing much.
Lou.
I think
Yeah.
he panics a bit, and it's like,
Definitely panicked.
And in this show, you cannot do that. You'll get ran right over.
But I
it
will
wasn't
say,
his intention, though.
no,
to throw Lou.
definitely. I will say he was very calm though in the boardroom when he was most likely going to be fired. He was very meticulous in the way he was speaking. He was pronunciating everything very well.
Yeah.
Whereas in the presentation of their project, he was like today, June. You know, he
Yeah.
was just he couldn't do it. So
Two-
he had no composure for some reason.
Two things I wanted to
Right.
touch on is, what did you guys think of Debbie Gibson calling Ivanka? I mean, it wasn't anything that necessarily benefited the women as why
Smart.
they won, but I liked it. I thought it was cool. Yeah, it was smart. And then further, I wanted to kind of talk about what I thought the guys possibly could have done. I love the twin idea, but do you guys think that possibly they could have done one window display as such and another window display as such? What I'm saying is, you have a blonde, and this is the way they said it: a blonde, a black, and a
red.
and a redhead. Yeah, blonde, black, red, and then you had blonde, black, red over here, and they were dressed so different. I lost, and I knew what they were doing. I lost the comparison, and that was the point.
definitely.
Could we have put all 6 girls in one window and had our other display be completely more of a marketing, signage, branding, yada yada? That's how I would have rolled, and I think it would have been better. I would have won.
Yeah, I think they could have if they did that, they could have definitely tied the two windows together. But I also was in the same boat. As soon as Ivanka came out and they pulled up the curtains, I was like, oh, she's not going to get what's going on.
I didn't get it, and
she
I
just
knew what was
sees some
happening.
people in like an office-y thing and then some people in like a black room. And she's going to not be able to draw because the women, regardless if they were twins, you didn't get a chance to look at them long enough to really know they were twins. You just assumed they were more women.
Right.
Yeah,
and
so if they
I
were,
think there was too much of a separation between the two windows.
They have the big door to worry about.
The men had the better concept, the worst execution.
Right, exactly.
The coloring was off. I mean, you can't put
no detail.
Right. You can't put a dark background. It's supposed to be night, a dark background, and a
Hall
dark man, and then a glaring window.
That's a mistake, though, that I feel like
that's a learning mistake, though. You learn as you go.
I was gonna say
like
that's a mistake that I'd be honestly like I would admit I'd probably make that particular mistake as well. Did Lou say that he tried to tell everybody about that?
He did try to tell Adam.
Yeah, he
Lou
did
has
say
got sensitive issues in this show.
He does.
He's very sensitive.
He's very sensitive, but at the same time, people don't really listen to him because he did say, you know, I think this background is too light, and Adam was really like,
too light or
okay,
too dark?
guy, you know, who has a speech impediment, you know, move on.
Yeah.
He just didn't seem to take him seriously.
Wait,
and
did he say it was too dark or too light?
He said,
just said
it was too
light.
dark. He said,
or too dark.
Oh, okay.
He
I'm
said,
like, what? It was too dark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah. He said it was too dark, and then Adam really brushed him away. But so far, every shot we've seen Lou in, for the most part, he is being like kind of pushed aside, like go somewhere else, you know, get out of here. And I feel bad because you can tell his intentions are so good and pure. He wants to help.
Extremely passionate.
Right.
Yes.
Extremely.
But he doesn't seem like he has the initiative. He's almost like a really muscular George Takei, because he doesn't seem to have the ability to take charge.
Well, didn't Clay say he's not as effective, and that's why people they were pushing him aside to go on the other side?
I think in this situation, then Lou definitely has to step up and be project manager to own that respect. I mean, we had talked about before. It's like, oh, if no one's volunteering, you step up on one that you like. I think for Lou, it's absolutely the most important thing for him to just step up on the next one and dominate as a leader, because they're not giving it to him.
Yeah. No, he's gonna definitely have to earn it.
And he's the one on the chopping block, I feel like, all the time. He got brought back in the boardroom today, right?
He did.
Yeah. Yep. And then he was called out by George. He had last week or 2 weeks ago, George had, or not, I'm sorry, not George. Penn had said, I'd bring back Lou. Lou got really upset, you know, so he's always, I do feel bad for him, because I feel like that's what I went through in high school or something, you know.
Can we real quick talk about the women and them forgetting the photos? And that was a Diana problem. Thankfully for her, she won, because she was project manager. And was I right when I saw that she was the one who forgot the photos?
Think it was
or didn't delegate it?
I thought it was the printer.
The printer messed that up.
So, I mean, it wasn't really anybody's fault.
Yeah, they didn't get sent in the package.
Showed who can act quick.
Aubrey.
You know what I mean? And you have to be able to, when something like that happens, I mean, you can't control the printer, whether you're the project manager or whoever she delegated to do that. Was it Lisa? It's not going to be anybody's fault but the printer. And so
that's life lessons to Ronnie and my crew here at AfterBuzz TV. This is why I love Celebrity Apprentice, because you always stay one head. You know, you never know whether it's going to be the printer, a flat tire on a car, whatever it is. Stay ahead of it.
On the table.
A spill on the table.
Yeah, that's an inside joke for here.
It's your ability to, you know, the people that are going to step up.
Plan B.
Yeah, you've got to have that plan. You got to be able to think like that.
And her leadership.
Aubrey probably can quickly adjust,
she did
because
really well tonight.
Actually had to use Plan B. I don't know what I'm talking about. I was trying to make
She's really smart, actually, and I feel like she's taking on a lot of responsibility on these shows, and it's impressive.
Okay,
I'm so happy to hear that.
This show, but even the last show with Lisa.
No, but I think you're going to start liking her more.
You know what I don't understand is, okay, you know how the guys had an issue with the dark, and then the girls had the issue with the coral because you couldn't see the shoe. So each of them equally had an issue when it came to colors and how to design the box.
I did think that was a good thing that Diana said right away. She goes, "Oh, coral. I thought out of both teams, I wanted to see more coral." That would have been one of my main aspects, and I thought that was not picked up on.
Yeah.
But speaking of the ladies, can we talk about their concept and how it started one thing and then
real
ended
quick,
up...
if you don't mind, I want to. Sorry, Alina, not to cut you off.
Problem.
I want to bring this point up. You know, you guys talked about them not liking Aubrey. If I was the women and I saw this happening, I'd be like, wait, you know what? Let her do most of the work, because she's been doing well, and if she wins us this task, then great. You know, we won the task, and I get to basically sit back. Or if she does do this and she gets fired, that's the strong competition out of the game.
Exactly.
Excellent.
That's what they did, though.
But you know what? I'm ready to see that mentality, what he's talking about. And then if she does get brought back to the boardroom, and those people who kind of let her be the lead line of defense and them sitting behind, because she will take the boardroom and she will take down every girl in there and the guys when they join teams. I mean, what I always talk about Aubrey, and I'm a huge fan of hers, obviously, but I wanted to have a point as to why, because I think you guys were like, oh, he just keeps talking about Aubrey. What it is like, again, she was on, I don't think I really said this, she was on the Making the Band show for 4 seasons trying to make the same band. So she's the only one out of probably the guys team and the girls team who has had to do similar tasks like this, and they were in New York City as well. So that's why she's just going to dominate. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed her on this episode.
So she has an advantage.
She had an advantage, and on YouTube, they did write some really nice, favorable things.
It's like a dancer on Dancing with the Stars.
What do you mean? Oh,
like if you're already a dancer and you're going on Dancing with the Stars, obviously you're going to have an advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think Aubrey did.
I'm just saying.
No, you're right.
Aubrey's the dancer. Go Maria Menounos.
Oh, you were just working in a little
March
tie-in.
19th.
There you go. She was working a tie-in. There you go.
Plugs. Well, despite I do like Aubrey. I don't know her from Making with the Band. I never watched it. I don't know what the show concept was or is, if it's still on air. So I'm really not familiar with her. So this is my first experience with her. I do definitely like her better because of a few things that she said tonight. One being when Diana, I'm gonna kill you.
Dana.
When Diana was talking about not being able to pick somebody who she would fire, Aubrey was the first one to say, I know exactly who I would answer that question with, Mr. Trump.
But
she didn't. But she was, saying that she would be willing to do that. So she is willing to put herself out there. And then, her stepping up with the idea on the fly. But I will say, I don't even know what her idea was. She said stuff, but it didn't really come into anything. Aubrey.
Her idea was to actualize like the sketches. So basically, we're showing Ivanka's work, and then the work come to life. You get it?
Okay, yeah.
Because there was sketches there.
Well, and I really didn't even get that.
That isn't that great. I'll be honest.
But it's not. But
maybe it was
an idea.
And it was her delivery and the way she commanded attention.
She's assertive. She knows what.
I really liked her from the beginning, but I think as you guys warmed up to her now, I think she's got a good shot of going pretty far. The only thing is being that strong, she's going to become a target when the teams merge.
Oh, absolutely.
So that kind of worries me, but
yeah, based off Phil's strategy, just start electing the project manager as the weakest one every time, or the strongest one every time, and sit back and try not to cause too much trouble.
Well, here's the problem: the players, they take emotion to it. They see somebody who's also strong, and they say, "Oh no, I'm more strong." Like Debbie Gibson, for instance. Well, I could do that too.
Wow.
So what Debbie
drama with that tonight.
Well, yeah, what Debbie Gibson should do is she should sit behind and let Aubrey go, be the first line of defense, and then just go. But no, people get too emotional in this project, and they cause the friction. I feel like Debbie Gibson is going to start beefing out with everybody on this show.
Debbie wants to do something every time.
She wanted
tonight,
to model,
she wanted
right?
To model.
But I'm glad she didn't take it too. I mean,
she didn't do Victoria Gotti on us.
No, she didn't take it too hard, and she was able to let some of the emotion go because
Diana was pretty
age,
cold
the demographic
about it,
was 25 to 35, and she definitely doesn't fit that demographic.
She said I play younger on TV.
Did we get her age? Didn't we look
yes.
She's over
she's
40.
41.
41. Aubrey's
older.
She doesn't.
She's 41.
She looks
Aubrey's
older.
28.
She does look older, and so I mean, they had to strategize using the people that look in that age bracket.
Yeah, you're delusional if you think you can fit in that age bracket.
I was really glad that.
I feel like Debbie will do good when they join teams. Like, I don't know. Why do I feel like she's going to do good with the guys? I have no idea why, but I kind of see that being her.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that's why. No. I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe once they join teams, she could be a little stronger.
Yeah, I think the women are resistant to her.
No matter what she says.
Yeah. She's always putting herself out there, but she never really gets her way. So she's trying, though. She's hanging in there.
Yeah.
She's really giving it a go. But I for the women winning tonight, this was really crucial. As we know, because they lost the first two. But Don said, if referring to the women, if we can't win this one, we have a problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I thought that was a really telling line because, step it up, ladies. We're giving this one to you. This is for the ladies.
Yes, really.
And it was teetering on, I don't know if they're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
And they did because they made prettier displays. I think that's the only reason they.
Well, you did say luck had something to do with it too. I think Ivanka chose, and they just wanted to throw him a bone or something. I don't know, kind of.
Well, their presentation was better too.
I think there's a reason. I mean, do you think it came down to the display, or do you think their branding was really branded well?
Let me ask you this: they always do kind of a breakdown of like we're gonna judge on this criteria, and they kind of break it down. So however many items there were, it'd be like a third of this, a third of this, a third of that.
Yeah, there's 3.
What were the 3?
Creativity, brand, messaging, and then the overall display.
Yes.
So there you go. Break it down in terms of that.
The creativity wasn't there.
Yeah, the women's creativity wasn't there.
Have a concept.
The women's creativity wasn't there. The second content to be judged by was brand messaging. The men did a much better job with the logos and the branding.
They did, but the women did use the colors.
But we didn't see that very much.
But the signage wasn't as...
the whole thing was coral.
The signage was more of a clock.
If I
walked, it was timeless.
It was supposed to be timeless, half the clock.
Yeah, but you want to think Ivanka Trump, not timeless.
Right. When if I walked by that display and I saw the clock, I would just think...
I wouldn't have known.
Clock.
I think
old grandfather clock.
They went solely on the last thing, overall presentation.
Yeah, overall presentation. If they had percentages that they were judging it by, it had to be at least 75%.
Well, and you know what I liked when they were giving the presentation? Every single person spoke. Every person on that team had a role.
That was a good presentation.
The men did not. It was, you know
what they should have done? The men should have utilized Penn again in that situation because Penn is a great presenter, and he should have been out there saying, "But." He
probably could have sold it. He probably could have sold it, got him on the page a little bit better too.
Because the start was so slow for the men.
Then that's exactly what won it because they did it as a group. Debbie and Tia,
all wearing the clothes,
and no one overshadowed anybody. It was great. No. Now that I think you're right,
it was rehearsed.
No, I'm wondering too if George felt that he had to give the presentation because he was the project manager, but he wasn't really delegating at all.
Yeah.
And so I think he kind of took that upon himself, and no one, like they said in the boardroom, no one's going to say anything. I mean, he's the project manager.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it too, strategy-wise.
Like even last week, remember? He couldn't even really read his lines.
No, he couldn't. He had to actually read them. Because he couldn't remember them.
Yes, he improvised. He wasn't good at improvising.
Right.
Which tonight you had to improvise.
But if you're in the boardroom and it has not begun the who would you fire and who would you fire, Donald's first questions are, did you think George was a good manager? And of course, everyone's going to say yes because they don't want George to get mad at them and bring them back. Yeah. So you have to kind of say, oh, yeah, he was great. He was this because I want to be on his good side. And then the instant.
Well, and that's the tough part because as soon as it does get to that point, then Donald says, but you just said he was good. So really, is it your fault? Like, that's what makes that boardroom so difficult.
That reminds me, Donald gave Diana a pass tonight.
How?
He didn't let her. He allowed her not to answer.
He did.
I was shocked because he
likes her.
Exactly. He usually pushes it like, no,
but
I want
another girl a pass, though, too.
He gave Aubrey a pass.
No, I don't think he gave Aubrey a pass. Well, she gave herself a pass by answering, but he asked one girl first, and she didn't answer. And then it went to Diana, I remember, and she didn't answer.
Project manager.
No, but my point is, and this is where I commend Aubrey again, is then when it went to Aubrey, that's when she spun it around or whatever.
And said, basically, I'd be more assertive when I'm project manager, and I'll take responsibility and say who I'd taken. And Diana,
Adam skirts around everything. Nobody just answers the damn question.
Adam Carolla called her bluff.
No, on the show, like in the boardroom.
No, I know. Go. Oh, the way they preface everything with "they're outstanding."
Is everything out of his mouth have to be funny?
He's so funny.
Do you not like him like we do?
I do, but it is funny, but it's just like. Okay, everything really does every single line. I mean, he's building a door in construction worker land.
He can't help that he was gifted.
Funny.
Right, I know.
It's like, ugh, come on.
Yeah. If you're his wife, you probably want to kill him for that. But I'll take it. It's entertaining.
Which, by the way, real quick, if you are a fan of Adam Carolla's, you can listen to Maria Menounos on his podcast tomorrow night.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yay.
So she is gonna be a guest, and I don't know how the live thing works with him anymore. In terms of, I know he takes calls and things like that. If nothing else, just download the podcast after the fact on Tuesday. It would be
and tweet him and all that good stuff. Yeah,
and tweet him about
we're hoping
us.
he's going to be. We're gonna get him to be a guest.
I like the way you said that. Not hoping. We know it's gonna happen.
Oh, my heart beats still.
We've had like 7 shows today, and 4 of them had guests from the TV programs. Clearly, we can make that happen too. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think Adam would be easy to talk to too, because he's just obviously
so funny.
But yeah, he's just a real guy. You can tell he just knows what's going on.
He's just a regular guy, just like you.
Exactly.
No, she said it
I'm
earlier.
more of a regular guy than he is.
I know somebody who's coming into the podcast late is going to say, well, why did he call her a man? My bad.
My chest, the upper
Kristen
part
Carney
is
is
very
actually... No, I'm kidding. What did you guys think about Dee Snider not being there?
It was fine.
I know. I was speaking. My boyfriend and I were having a chit chat about Dee Snider from the last episode breaking his finger. My boyfriend pointed out, opened my mind to such wonderful worlds. My boyfriend said, I broke every single finger in high school, like playing basketball and football. I never once went to the doctor. He said, I took some duct tape, I wrapped it around my fingers, and look how beautiful they are now. He plays the piano. He's very, very dexterous. And I thought, oh my God, yeah, I've jammed every single one of my fingers. I put a popsicle stick on that thing, wrapped some Scotch tape around it, and went on with my day. It hurts like a biatch. However, I think Dee Snider was a little bit of a baby. He probably could have used surgery, if you want your finger to heal perfect. But he's still gonna be functioning.
You're calling him a baby? That's your issue?
But it's
probably also the show making it more dramatic.
Thank you. It's a little
right.
Yeah, but
but his finger was all the way back. I mean, he had
but
to
that's
go
a good point.
have
you make
surgery.
There's a
lot of people could probably use surgery on their fingers, but they don't.
No, but Elena,
Ronnie Law is a 49er during a game. Cut his finger off because it broke.
Like completely cut it off?
Yes, he severed part of it and played the game, and they
Gangsta.
won. Thank God they won.
Yeah.
But point is, you make a really strong point. I'm sure the show made it really dramatic too.
Kimlai, you want to show your photos?
Yes. Well, this is him in the hospital, and then they also have a picture of him with the X-ray. And that's him laying down, getting ready to go under.
That's him dead.
And then, if you guys notice, the one on the right, he's actually flipping them off.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that was just supposed to be funny. But they show the little tear in his bone, right? Can you have a tear in your bone, or wait, is that a broken? What do you call that?
Fracture.
A fracture. So it's like a little.
That doesn't look that bad.
In your.
Crying.
Okay, I get what Kristen was saying though. Like, yeah, maybe he's being a baby about it, but. If it happened to you, you probably would, be cool about it. But you're on a show, so the show's obviously gonna go take you to get medical attention, is what I'm saying.
Oh, definitely.
True.
But I think he was.
They didn't focus on it too much.
They didn't focus on it, but I think Donald babied him a little bit too much. He's like, should we all give him a pass? Should we all give him a pass for tonight? And he accepted it. If he was a dude, if he was a man, he'd be like, no, I should have been stronger. Just give a little bit of that testosterone side of you, and just show that maybe you could have kept going and you could have waited till the taping of this episode was over. Because the doctor said the doctor said in 10 days your finger could heal like that. 10 days from the point.
Right.
So he had 10 more days to choose from to get his finger work done.
Yeah.
However, I will be hypocritical because Adam Carolla missed the last episode for a wedding. So talk about sissy. Talk about sissy, right? So
and it did add a little bit, showing the hospital. There's been so many interviews this week of the hospital and videos of it, and him going in, and
he didn't lose a leg
for the show.
There was no Adam Carolla wedding footage anywhere.
Yeah.
So it did add.
All right, let's jump to the boardroom now. Somebody has to go, and it's our little friend who has to go, and we all knew it, kind of. So it really wasn't the big surprise. The episode itself was better than the end. Who did he have in the boardroom with him? Lou and Arsenio. I think Arsenio speaks so great in those boardrooms.
He's smart.
He's pretty eloquent.
He's smart.
Words. Wow, he uses good ones. He definitely thinks before he speaks.
Yeah, he has very good logic.
Yes.
What was the one line that he said where all of us were kind of really impressed by? It was something along the lines.
I know what you're talking about.
He basically said, I accept responsibility because the style was my responsibility, and if Ivanka didn't like it, then I did it. However,
there's that key word.
However, my goal was only to display all of her clothes or something, right? Am I right?
My intention or something like that.
Yeah. So... And he also didn't he mention that George was the project manager? And
he wrapped that around. And I think sometimes when you're talking to the Donald, or just in certain circumstances, if you have that willingness to be like, well, if that's the reason, then I will happily go. Sometimes when you say that,
it's scary.
it's just so confident. Like Arsenio's willing to go that you kind of don't get voted off because he's so willing to go. You know.
But he had the
however.
Yeah, and Donald even pointed out that was smart of him to say. That I'm just taking orders from my manager. So
we had Donald Jr., who has a Twitter, by the way, I just had seen, and then Donald,
Eric.
the other Eric or Derek.
I think it's Eric.
And then of course Ivanka.
Definitely Eric. Definitely Eric.
Yeah, Donald's not naming his kid Derek.
I know. Can I be honest with you? I really was just trying to be a little humorous, I guess. Not really a joke, but I don't know why I said that. I want to revoke what I just said.
Yes, please do.
those bad jokes. Anyways, it wasn't a joke though. But listen, so but gosh, his kids just all over the show. I mean, selling Ivanka's her line and plugging both of his kids.
He's a businessman.
Mastermind. He's really good at that, you know.
Why not?
Fun to watch. Yes, fun to watch. Well, let's jump to a commercial because that wraps up today's episode, and then we will talk about where Diana's charity is for the next week and do predictions and all that good stuff and news. All right, AfterBuzzTV.com, Celebrity Apprentice. Let's go to commercial.
AfterBuzz TV. Hi, I was once like you. A lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after-shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Hello. What do you want to buzz about? What do you want to
Debbie
bing
Gibson's
about?
nose.
Oh, that's that song right there.
knows
Celebrity
the
Apprentice, baby. AfterBuzzTV.com. Of course, this is your online network where we recap so many shows, you guys. This is not just Celebrity Apprentice. So if you are catching us online on iTunes, check out all the other shows that we do. We obviously carry the upcoming season of Dancing with the Stars over on ABC as well, because our very own Maria Menounos will be the contestant that will probably dominate and win the entire show. What was loud? The intensity?
You're yelling at Mike.
Well, it's a good song. She was getting into it. I did want to make one quick mention. We all want money, but another thing we want from you guys who are checking us out online, if you're on iTunes, why didn't you let us know what's up? What were you gonna say?
Please leave comments and feedback, you guys. We really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, we had a YouTube.
Good comments and feedback, by the way.
We had a YouTube person who went to our last YouTube video from last week, and I really liked the person because they shouted me out by saying, "Oh, that's right, Ronnie is supporting Aubrey, and she's going to take it all," or something like that. I might have just added extras on it right now.
Someone also said that we are catty, which we are not. We all love each other very much so.
They said that on the
selective viewing, because I must have missed that part.
Oh, I saw that one. They said it's funny that they call all the ladies on the show catty because they're just as catty, proving their point.
Talking about the women on the panel, which is funny
but
because
we're
you guys
like super nice to each other. We're like we're actually kind of just hugging this entire podcast. So I don't know what they're talking about catty.
No, that's good. We have to take the good and take the
the bad and put it in our pockets.
We appreciate
whatever.
Yeah. Anything to boost our iTunes and our YouTube views and all this great stuff we got on AfterBuzz, and be looking out because there's a lot of good stuff. But let's go back to Celebrity Apprentice. We'll do news in just 1 second, but Kimlai wanted to speak upon a really good quote that stood out to her on this particular episode. Was it Clay Aiken?
Well, I just thought it was interesting. You guys remember when when they were going around, it was Eric. Yes, because it was Eric for the guys.
It was Derek.
Yeah.
If you could call Diana Dana, I could call Eric Derek.
And Eric was going around asking how everyone was doing, and Clay did. I mean, he alluded to the fact that George was not doing a good job, and I thought that was so not smart of him, because if he doesn't think that you can say a bit like that and have it not be brought back. Did you notice how surprised he was in the boardroom when Donald Trump said, well, what did you guys all think of George as a project manager? And everyone was like, yes, he was great. He was great. He was great.
Clay's eyes went, ooh.
And then Donald Trump said, well, Clay, didn't you say? And Clay was like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, really, dude? You've been on TV enough. I mean, granted, it's only American Idol, but you've been on TV enough to know that they're going to do that. And then what he said, he said that his thoughts about George was that he gave away so much authority that he really didn't have a purpose anymore.
Yeah.
And that's exactly
right. That was a big shock for all.
He was right.
Yeah.
He is
and
right.
It's like, but that's so true in everything. It's like, oh.
It was the same for Diana too.
Uh-huh.
George is definitely in his own world. And I'm sure it's a wonderful world to be in wherever he is.
And he's adorable.
Who's that? Oh,
George.
Yeah, well, he's gone now.
Yeah.
I do like that. So, okay, he gave away, let's really listen to what that's saying. He gave away all his authority, so there was no reason for him to even be part of the challenge. No. Wow, no purpose. Yeah, he didn't have it. You're right. That's good. Okay, Clay.
And I do feel bad because at the beginning of the challenge, he said, I'm dedicating this to my late parents.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which made me feel really bad. And he's just this little, like,
goosebumps.
I know, and he's this little, like, adorable guy you just want to hug and just say it's okay. And you can't through the TV.
But
and I'm sure legally also.
I'm not sure which one of you said it, but you know it is. They all have a story and they all have a charity, and nothing is more important than the next. You know, in theory. So it's sad,
well,
but
not according to Diana.
Well, hers is good.
But
hers is for the Latino AIDS. Some
Latino,
type of,
you said that.
Some type of.
I wish you could remember how she said it though.
What do you mean?
Boardroom. We're all going into the boardroom. That means boardroom.
Oh, please tell me you're not making fun of her accent, this beautiful woman.
It was so hard.
Oh my God.
It was so hard. I was like, what, the war room? What did she say?
She said news time, and we'll kick it off with Kimlai because she got the news.
No, I'm joking. Okay, so Digital Spy reported this week that Victoria Gotti has given it away, saying that Clay Aiken is going to take it off.
You took my news.
He's smart. He's
You could go. No, I have more.
You catty little biatch.
I know. Bring it.
He's smart. He's good, and he's strategic. There was also rumor that Dee Snider was going to leave because of his broken finger, and obviously he is still here.
Not true.
He didn't leave. Okay, speaking of George, this might make you feel a little bit better that he got voted off today, but Donald Trump did agree to have lunch with him and talk about same-sex marriage. So that's excellent. That's
about them getting together?
Yeah. No! I'm like, no!
Like Donald's going to help his cause, or what are you talking about?
Yes, he's going to actually sit down, have a meeting with him, wine and dine, and see what and how he can help George on his mission.
Awesome.
Isn't George already married, though? I thought he was.
But I don't think...
But he wants to help the rest of the gays.
Got it.
There's a lot more where that came from.
Cute. He wants to help the rest of the gays. Upcoming, Lisa Lampanelli and Diana they do a major head-to-head. Apparently, we're going to see this in upcoming.
Diana and who?
Lisa Lampanelli.
Oh, that'll be fun.
And I think that one is going to be
men
really
versus
interesting.
the women.
Yes, because I think Diana, she's a hothead too, and I think she thinks a little bit more of herself in that role, and Lisa has got it.
Lisa's going to bring it. Before you say things like that.
All right.
And then there's also reports Teresa's husband was partying with some of the female cast members. She blows up, and apparently we're going to see this. So Teresa,
it's going to be with Debbie Gibson. I know it.
Back out as she does on The Housewives, but her husband is known for being a womanizer. He's like a ladies' man, which I don't know why you would want that. That man is bankrupt and has so much baggage.
And a slumlord.
Right? Well, I don't know about that one, but so we're going to see that also coming up. She's going to do a little freak.
Yeah, and there were also rumors, in the past of him cheating on her. Like, for sure. So, those were for sure rumors.
Those were for sure.
I don't know if they were for sure true, but they were for sure rumors.
I have some Teresa news as
well.
Wow, since we're on it.
We're so obsessed with Teresa, so let's get into it.
Speaking of Joe, HollywoodNews.com reports that he is a slumlord because he owes $51,000 to New Jersey Electric Company, and all his tenants lost power. And besides that, apparently Lou and Teresa really love each other because Lou tweeted, "Teresa, you are a class act," and she replied, "And you are a true gentleman. Love, 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 love you."
Oh, well, if it's on Twitter, it is official.
And then lastly,
Lou,
Teresa is following another housewife's footsteps. Bethany, she's going to be at the 5th annual Wine Expo sampling Fabellini. It's her new cocktail line.
All right.
Wow. Her cookbooks were pretty successful.
To be a reality star.
I mean, they were a hit. Both of her cookbooks.
Yeah,
were they?
skinny, like skinny Italian.
And for you, Ronnie, I have one last thing.
Sure.
Aubrey.
Do you have Aubrey news?
She admits to dating a married man.
Oh, yeah.
To life and stuff. Who's the guy?
I don't know, but
she said she didn't know about it, and to this day she regrets it, and she was crushed.
That's what we all say.
So
the wife probably
where was this report? Where was this report?
This was reported on Perez, but she spoke to Life and Style about
Perez used to eat her up years ago. I don't know if they... Well, Perez is a little nicer on his site now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying she could take a bullet on this show. Celebrity Apprentice is probably like a walk in the park for her because she, again, had did the making the band stuff. But when Perez was at his worst, she was up there in the Heidi Montags and the Her and the whoever else was getting attacked. Like she was one of, so she could handle this pressure. So I don't think Clay Aiken's gonna win. I want her to win, but I would give her top 3. Can we be fair with that?
Definitely.
Top 3?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. More news from her next time, please. That'd be great.
Well, today we have a lot of news for Teresa because I also have news on
My
Teresa.
least favorite character out of all of them.
Yeah, it's strange too because she's not really saying. We've seen very, very little of her in the show. But do you remember 2 episodes ago, I believe, when they were making the sandwiches?
Yes.
Debbie Gibson called Teresa insecure.
Yes.
And Teresa responded by saying, quote, "Insecure is one thing I am so not. Anybody who knows me knows I am not insecure." So I guess she put a stop to that because I agreed with Debbie Gibson.
Come back.
Yeah,
you knew Teresa was going to come back.
She's not going to let that
I want to nominate Teresa to go home. Can the fans nominate some?
She's not that bad.
I didn't really follow her show, but out of all the Housewives shows, she had to be the most boring, except for that other one with the short red hair, the Carolyn or whatever. Those 2 were so boring. They were so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Well, anyway, more on Teresa, just to continue this treachery for you, Ronnie. Teresa's favorite people from Celebrity Apprentice were Lou Ferrigno, Arsenio Hall, Adam Carolla, and Paul. So those were her faves. She didn't list any women. She did not list
I thought they were a little close on that one episode.
Yeah.
She didn't list any women. So, but I feel her. I totally feel her there.
It's Lisa, Adam. Who else did you say?
Not Lisa. It was
no women.
Lou, Clay, Arsenio, Adam, and Paul. Okay. Those were her favorites.
These are all really strong women,
but
too.
I will,
and women.
I am lying though. She did like Cheryl, who left the first episode.
Okay.
The non-threatening one.
Right, exactly.
The least one who was there for 2 seconds.
Well, I'll give a little bit of Aubrey, not news, but like, if you're pumping these other cast members. If you, as I've always talking about where to see Aubrey be so dynamic on the Making the Band show, if you go on YouTube and search Making the Band Season 3, Episode 4, that's the actual YouTube video clip where they did their 72-hour challenge, which they were basically Diddy had pushed them to do a 72-hour challenge, which included dancing, going to the record label, doing radio interviews, singing lessons, running around Central Park. I mean, just like 100 different things. So it's an episode that always won me over. So if you are starting to become an Aubrey fan, that would be the episode for you to look at. And just search it on YouTube and you'll find it.
Yeah, I am becoming a fan, so maybe I will.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't, though, too. Anyway, and then the last thing I'll say about Teresa is that she did not fear her financial past coming up in the show, being such a show based around business. She did, though. They did show her in the opening credits of Celebrity Apprentice on the cover of In Touch magazine with the headline saying "How I Blew $11 Million." So they really kind of assured her they wouldn't bring it up, but they did in the first, but they haven't done it since, and she doesn't seem to be bothered by it.
Yeah, so. I heard Dirty Laundry was all aired during the Housewives.
And it smells.
I mean,
it's not a secret.
Yeah.
Nothing is a
after
secret.
That,
maybe I will start liking
I know, after
her.
that, this is easy breezy.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. Does that wrap up the news, Kimlai?
Yes, that's all I have.
Can we do predictions?
I predict.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
that
prediction.
What's up?
2 people are going to be voted off next week.
That's what we know for sure.
You should open up a psychic shop.
I predict that. I predict it. Because I know no one watched the previews for next week.
Yeah, 2 people. Debbie Gibson, maybe.
Maybe. They
that's just
showed
the
her
way
face.
They edited her. She's going to get spicy with some people regardless. Like, something is going to happen with Debbie.
Something's definitely going to happen with Teresa and Debbie. I know it for a
More
fact.
drama, for sure, is coming.
I
it
could
has
totally
to.
see that.
It's
gonna
Celebrity
start.
Apprentice, you guys. There's definitely going to be more drama.
Yeah, I don't know if that's my psychic brain or if I saw something on TV of them fighting, but it's going to happen. It's the pot slowly boiling, but
Or just the strategy
I
of the show.
totally see that happening.
I wonder what kind of challenge they're going to have next week, though.
I know. I mean, it's hard to predict the challenge because they're so random. It's not like
hard
they
to predict
pick a
who's going to get
theme
voted
for
off.
the whole show.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
Right.
Predict that.
You can have hopes and dreams of who will get voted off.
Who are your hopes and dreams?
Who are your, yeah. Go.
Oh, God. Now I'm going to be like they are in the boardroom. I'm going to be like, they're really sweet, but...
I hate that.
I love everybody.
I hate that.
I
pick two. Right now, if you could pick two people to go.
Diana and Patricia. And that is me being
girls.
Like, no, but the reason I'm doing it is because...
Wrong with the Latinas?
I know, it sounds like I'm so like racist or something. No, but
it doesn't.
It's only, it's because I didn't... Patricia pushed me in the wrong direction after she was no longer project manager, and when Lisa Lampanelli was project manager, Patricia seemed so freaked out not to be in control and was so miserable and in the boardroom that it rubbed me the wrong way completely, and I felt like that showed that she wasn't a team player. So she rubbed me the wrong way. I went her out. And then also today by pushing for Diana to be the project manager just solely based on no credentials at all.
Latina.
It bothered me. So, blah.
Because she's close to her.
Yeah.
Because she's Latina.
Yeah. And then Diana, just because I feel like she has gotten many passes so far, you know, she's the flames have been like right there, and somehow she just jumped through them, and I just kind of want them to
people are
get her.
Did you guys know Adam Carolla and Debbie Gibson will be the project managers, and Donald, Ivanka, and Donald Jr. will be the judges?
Spoiler.
Ooh,
that's like a major spoiler.
There's a crystal ball in that room.
Or NBC.com.
Who would you vote off?
I
Pick
would
two
vote
right now.
off
Go.
Debbie and Michael Andretti, just because he's boring.
Oh yeah, he's
And
totally boring.
Debbie because she annoys me.
Okay.
Good reasons, honestly.
I am voting off Debbie, and I would, prediction-wise, I would like to see more out of Tia because I think we can still get something good out of her. She's just up in the air. She's a little bit of a floater, and I need to make my decision about her. But she gave me a couple dumb comments in the beginning, first and second episode. Kind of was nothing today.
Yeah, she threw herself under the bus.
But she also carried herself very well in the presentation. So I am by my prediction is for me by next week I'm gonna know if I like Tia. Things I also liked were I loved that Aubrey and Lisa were tight because that is the if you could call them mean girls or whatever, that's the mean girls I want.
Wait till they turn on each other though.
Right.
Ooh, that's gonna be badass.
And I
really
still say
bad.
Aubrey will take her.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it because we already saw Lisa break. We haven't seen Aubrey break yet at all.
But she broke on Making the Band a lot. But and I also am very happy that Adam Carolla is just dominating even when he maybe doesn't do well on a challenge. I think the social aspect of it, the humor, it has everyone not want to kind of put his name out there. You had actually thought Adam Carolla was going to be nominated to go back in. And I think when everyone, I don't know, when you're sitting there in a boardroom and you have to choose those two people and everybody likes that guy, it's kind of hard for you to bring them because it's, I don't know. And I think that social game cannot be not talked about.
He's the
definitely.
comedic relief. We can't lose Adam.
Yeah.
Right.
I love Celebrity Apprentice, and I love these beautiful ladies that we got to hang out with. If you are listening to us on iTunes, please jump on over to our YouTube page, and of course go to AfterBuzzTV.com. Show some support, talk with us, leave comments about your favorite TV show. We happen to be breaking down Celebrity Apprentice, but each and every one of us do other shows as well. I think Kimlai does Revenge. You do ABC's
The River.
I do Showtime's Shameless, and we got to get you in here for a couple more.
I know. I'm actually going to help with Real Housewives of Atlanta tomorrow. So.
Oh, okay. So you'll be back. Yep. There we go. Twitter handles. You can follow all of us, of course, at AfterBuzz TV, which is the Twitter handle. But personally, it's at Ronnie Jr. Media.
At Kimlai Yingling.
Jinx, at Kristen Carney.
At _ Alina Alina 23.
All right, Celebrity Apprentice always asks the question what it takes to be a big, a successful business person, and I think we dissect that every single episode right here on the After Show. Once again, big congratulations to our technical wizard in the booth, Phil Svitek, who could assure all of us that a lot of great things are going on for our After Show right here on AfterBuzzTV.com. So thank you, sir. I guess we're out of here. Anything else?
Good night.
Good night. Sleep tight.
Or good morning, depending on
Good
how
morning.
freaky
Good
things are for you. All right, AfterBuzz, we're out of here. Celebrity Apprentice style. Peace.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. Get that money.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.